Hey, good morning, everybody. Monday morning here. It's about 10:30, and little Meadows over here, being a monster this morning, just playing with everything and chewing on everything like she's been doing the past couple days. But it's all good. She usually goes to sleep at about like I don't know 11 o'clock, and so we should have some peace and quiet here in a bit. But in the meantime, while I'm filming this, you may hear her kind of wrestling around in the background because she's playing with a few toys. What I wanted to do is I wanted to expand upon the post that I put up the past 2 days talking about the Chinese-owned company that is mining in the Prescott Forest south of Prescott, Arizona. It's near some communities like Potato Patch and Grom Creek and Ponderosa Park. These are all really tranquil, off-grid communities that have been in the forest for a long time, and it's like a peaceful existence down there for those folks. And these mines that are cropping up are right next to where these communities are at, like literally right next door, especially for Potato Patch. So what we'll do is I'm going to start out, I want to read you some information from the petition that's going around to help to try to halt the next phase of this process that's going on, because there's some really big impacts that are going to happen to the local community there, as well as to the water system. And we all know in Arizona, the water system out here, the groundwater and all that stuff is very, very sensitive, and this is going to directly impact that. So let's dive into this information. Okay, so looking at the petition here, I'm just going to go ahead and read a few snippets from it just to give you a synopsis of what's going on. And I'm also going to include some screen captures of like some of the things, like the website from this company that had information about what was going to happen in the next phase. They now deleted that off their website and removed it. Some screen captures as to satellite imagery showing where these positions are located, and also the national forest around it and in between the parcels that are trying to be exploited for strip mining, and then also just the detrimental impact that's going to happen to the environment out here, which I think is just atrocious that this is happening. Now, just full disclosure, this area was actually, in the 1800s, there was a lot of mining going on, but it was just more like smaller gold mines. It had nothing to do with strip mining. Certainly didn't have pits that go down to 900 feet below the surface of the ground, and just these wide open chasms and scars in the earth. It was, what you would see from your typical 1800 mine, where there'd be wood structure on the outside, a little bit of a hole going in, and people going in and extracting materials. So this is a completely different type of mine than this area has ever seen in the past. And the company is called Gold Paradise Peak Incorporated. They are a Chinese-owned company. I think it's, I don't know the exact ownership of what it is like over there, if it's owned by a specific company or if it's owned by the Chinese government, but it is a Chinese run company. And what is going to happen is, if they can go forward with this extraction of gold, silver, and even possibly uranium, then they're going to take all those materials, load them onto a ship in the San Francisco Bay Harbor, and then ship it back over to China and process it there, and then leave us with the environmental disaster and have no economic benefit whatsoever to the United States. I think that is completely inappropriate for the government to allow foreign companies to do stuff like this. I'm not against foreign citizens owning property in the States. I think that's fine. I mean, I would love to eventually own property somewhere, in Central America. And so I fully think that that's fine. But I don't think other companies should come in and own big swaths of land, especially in, operations like this, where it can hurt the environment. And this company has already been out of compliance since 2023, I believe, like the middle part of 2023. And then this year they've had an additional infraction. So let's dive into this. I'm going to read you a little bit from this change.org petition, and then I'm going to show you some screen captures of the satellite imagery and how that impacts the area. Our community, encompassing Walker, Potato Patch, Grom Creek, Hassayampa Lake, Whispering Pines, and Misty Mountain, among others, is under threat. A strip mine owned by an affiliate of the Chinese government, Gold Paradise Peak Incorporated, has begun operations in our residential neighborhood without any prior notice to the area residents. This operation plans to strip over 800 acres of forest and excavate the mountainside along Senator Highway up to 900 feet deep, devastating this area for centuries to come. The impact is already visible on our property, which lies adjacent to the mining operation. Trees have been destroyed without permission for road widening activities that disregard private property. Blasting along Senator Highway has already begun, which poses a significant threat of causing irreparable harm to the foundations and integrity of our homes, and especially the 90-plus-year-old dam at the Hassayampa Lake within very close proximity to the blasting sites. The miners have confirmed that blasting will be a regular occurrence as part of their industrial operations to extract primarily gold and silver, as well as other mineral resources, potentially including uranium, which was found on the Superfund site per the environmental report of 2002. Their compliance history with the EPA shows they have been out of compliance since January of 2022, and this quarter at least one violation was noted. According to their own mine development plan and exploration work, both of which pages have now been removed from their website, already conducted, Phase 1 expects to operate for up to 20 hours per day at 50-foot depths, excavating approximately 200 tons per day on average through our residential neighborhoods, which will then be transported as crushed rock to Los Angeles for shipment back to China. Phase 2 will utilize the profits from the gold ore extracted from Phase 1 to fund a much more substantial excavations at depths from 570 feet to 900 feet deep. The consequences are far-reaching and devastating for our environment as well as our community's safety and peace. The Hassayampa River water quality is at risk due to excavation activities which could ultimately affect the drinking water for millions of Arizonans, as the Hassayampa River Basin is a key water source for the Phoenix Active Management Area, Arizona's largest groundwater source. Wildlife, including endangered species like the Mexican spotted owl and bald eagle, are losing their habitats. These birds use the forests as breeding and feeding grounds, which are now being decimated. Bear, mountain lion, deer, elk, turkey, and many other animals rely on the Hassayampa River for a clean water source. The EPA has previously invested millions of tax dollars remediating old mines in the area from the 1800s because of the devastating effect those mines had on the environment. A strip mine of this scale would be far more detrimental to the environment. Furthermore, there are significant safety concerns with large commercial vehicles trespassing on private property, causing not just nuisance and damages, but also danger to the residences. Families are afraid to walk along Walker Road for fear of these large industrial vehicles. Several large trucks stopped on a neighbor's private property after the truck driver instigated an aggressive confrontation with the neighbor for merely documenting their presence, as requested by the EPA. Excessive dust from mining operations and their industrial vehicles engulfs properties, causing further distress and health concerns. This mine affects everyone in our community. It's not just an environmental issue, but a violation of our rights to quiet enjoyment, among other issues like road safety due to unlawful widening activities and large commercial and industrial vehicles utilizing a primitive residential drive along Walker Road without any regard to the safety or rights of the area residents. Area residents are actively suffering each day from noise pollution, light pollution, dust pollution, chemical pollution, water pollution, and traffic pollution. Please join us in this fight against environmental degradation and intrusion into our peaceful living spaces by signing this petition today to stop the Senator Mine and 10 Spot Mine, owned by Gold Paradise Peak Incorporated. Also, please leave a comment how the mine has already or will likely affect you and your family. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to show you the parcels that I've been able to identify so far through the Yavapai County search, and then also how those are adjacent to both the communities that we just addressed here and the residents that are concerned about it, and then also their proximity to national forest lands, of which the Gold Paradise Peak Incorporated, or whatever, Gold Paradise Peak Incorporated has filed claims to an additional, I think, up to almost 1,000 acres of national forest land to try to gain access to that for more strip mining operations. Essentially, they want to turn this huge area and this big old mountain, they want to level everything and turn it into a massive pit over there for strip mining. And that's completely unacceptable. I don't think this should be happening. Like I said, and like this petition said, none of the residents were given any sort of heads up about this whatsoever. So we're behind the gun here, and what we're trying to do is raise enough awareness to this to where we could stop phase 2 from happening. So let's dive into the satellite imagery and we'll show you what we're looking at here. All right, we're going to use the new Google Earth feature for this, and we're going to zoom into the area. You can see the 2 mine parcels here. Both of those I found the paperwork for the filings on it, and then there's one over here to the left, which is kind of out of the frame, which I found the filings on that. Now this middle portion here, which I'm taking the mouse over, that's actually national forest land, and same with up here to the upper left. Over to the right here, that's where Potato Patch is and the Hassayampa Lake. Then if we do the 3D model, that whole mountain area is what they want to level. Now keep in mind, part of that is national forest land. And they want to level this entire area, create a mine that goes, a strip mine that goes 900 feet deep. And the Hassayampa River actually runs to just to the north of where this area is. It butts right up against the property. And so this is going to have a huge detrimental impact on the environment. And here's looking north towards like Skull Valley and Prescott and Ponderosa Park to give you an idea of where this is located, it's just south of Prescott, the town of Prescott, Arizona. The Hassayampa Lake is right here. This is where the Hassayampa River has that old historic dam, which could be, the foundation of it can be destroyed due to the blasting, which is very nearby. And the water quality is definitely going to be jacked up from the Hassayampa River, because the Hassayampa River, it actually, that means disappearing river. It goes down into like these cave systems and back up and back down. So it comes up and out of the ground and then disappears again and goes back in that area. Now, all these residents right here in the potato patch area are directly next door to where this mining operation is taking place. Now, phase 1 is underway, and we're trying to get phase 2 at least halted for the meantime until we can get some more information on it. Right now, the company that's doing this deleted all the information from their website about phase 2. But you can see this massive mountain right there, center frame, that they want to level that entire thing, and part of it is national forest land. Now, they're filing claims to try to get access to it. I talked to a friend of mine who is very much in the know with this. He said there's claims that they've filed to try to get access for up to 1,000 acres of national forest land, which is completely unacceptable. Kind of creates like a triangle area between these 3 mines that they purchased, and the middle portion, like I said, is national forest. So that's why I'm bringing this to everybody's attention. We cannot allow this to happen. That's unacceptable, and it needs to be a halt put to it. And the more people we get involved, the better off we'll be. You can see this area is beautiful. There's no reason for this habitat destruction, especially when it's going to be a company that takes the ore and mineral off to China to benefit that country, and leave us with just, sitting here with just an environmental disaster on our hands. So completely unacceptable. Once again, these are the 3 mines that I'm highlighting with the little mouse area there, and then the mountain in the middle that could potentially be destroyed if this goes through. All right, everybody, that's it for now. That's what we know so far. I'm going to go down. I'm starting to feel better. I think that this COVID bug is finally passed. So I'm going to go down probably within the next week and go interview a friend of mine who is very much involved with this to try to figure out more of what's going on. Go down to the site myself, take some video. I don't care if these guys harass me or not. They can go pound sand, because I'm not gonna be intimidated by them. And we're just gonna get as much information as possible and get this out to y'all. There is a petition in the video description below. If you could go, please sign it. We're trying to get to 35,000 signatures, and we're right at about 31,000 right now, I think. And then if we can get to 35,000, that gets us to the next step, and hopefully we can get in front of some lawmakers here and try to get this, at least the claims trying to get into the national forest, get those squashed. Can't do much about the private land that's already been purchased. If they want to mine that, that's their thing. I'd prefer they don't, but it's their private land, and if they were able to gain access to it, that's their call. But it's completely unacceptable to even have the potential of screwing up groundwater here in Arizona, because that's such a precious resource out here in the high desert areas, that if they screw that up, I mean, it just puts us in more of a bind. And I'm tired of the citizens taking it on the chin for big profits and big companies and these multinational corporations that think they can come in here and push us around. So let's all get together and fight back and see what we can do, and I'll keep you informed with the next video. Thanks for tuning in.